Hey there, and welcome. So, you've got a big interview coming up for a QA team lead role, and you're doing it in English, which isn't your first language? Well, you have come to exactly the right place. We're going to get you totally ready for it.
Are you feeling a little nervous about that big tech interview? Let me tell you, that's completely normal. I mean, interviews are stressful enough, right? And doing it in a second language? That's a whole other level of pressure. But don't you worry, we're going to break it all down and give you some great strategies to help you feel confident. So, let's talk about the challenge ahead. It's not just about language, it's also about culture. It's about how you say things, not just what you say.
See, your goal is bigger than just answering questions correctly. It's about really communicating your professional value, what you bring to the table. And that's exactly what we're going to focus on. The tips we'll cover will help you show off your skills and your awesome ability to work in new cultures.
All right, let's get into the good stuff, answering those tricky interview questions. We're going to look at the most common ones and figure out the best way to handle them.
Okay, here's the big one. What kind of salary do you need? Ugh, the money question, right? When they ask this, they're not trying to trick you. They just want to know if you've done your homework on what the job market is like and if you know your own worth. So the best way to tackle this is with a two-part strategy. First, on the professional side, you've got to do some research. Find out the typical salary range for this kind of role, not just one number, but a range. And then, for the language part, using a simple phrase like, based on my research, is golden. It immediately tells them you're prepared. Let's break down these essential phrases. When you say, based on my research, you sound prepared. I understand the market rate is, shows you know your stuff. I'm open to discussion is great because it shows you're flexible. And my favorite, considering my experience in, is perfect because it links your value directly to the money. Now, here's a really powerful cultural tip for you. In many English-speaking business cultures, it is totally okay to ask them a question back. You can confidently say, could you share the budgeted range for this position? This doesn't sound aggressive at all. It actually shows you're confident and serious about the role. All right, on to the next one. Are you a team player? Now, this question sounds simple, but it's super important. They really want to get a feel for how you collaborate and work with other people. So, how do you answer this one really well? Use something called the STAR method. It's easy. Describe a situation, the task you had, the action you took, and the result. Tell a quick story. And for the language part, try using some professional words like collaborative environment or cross-functional teams. Cross-functional just means teams with people from different departments. Developers, designers, and managers all working together. And this brings me to a really important cultural point. In business culture, especially in the US and UK, specific examples are everything. They are way more powerful than just saying something general. So instead of just saying, oh yeah, I'm a team player, tell a short story about a time you actually solved a problem with your team. That's what they really want to hear. Okay, our third tricky question is, what is your philosophy towards work? This question is all about them trying to understand your personal values and figuring out if you'll be a good fit for the company's culture. Here are some really great phrases you can use. For example, I believe in, or my approach centers on. You could say, I believe in maintaining high standards, which is perfect for QA, right? Or my approach centers on continuous improvement. These phrases show you're serious and committed to quality, which is exactly what they're looking for.
All right, let's move on to some powerful communication tools to make your answers even better.
Okay, this is a super simple but really effective three-step process. First, when they ask a question, just pause. Take a second to think. Second, if you're not totally sure what they're asking, it's okay to clarify. You can say something like, just to make sure I understand correctly. And third, whenever you can, give a specific example. It makes your answer so much stronger. Now, let's quickly go over a few common mistakes that are so easy to avoid once you know about them. Okay, number one, please do not apologize for your English. Never say, sorry for my English. You don't need to. Instead, just start your sentence with a confident phrase like, from my perspective, or in my experience. Your skills are what they care about. Here's another little trap: literal translations. Sometimes we translate a phrase directly from our own language, and it sounds a bit off in English. A common one is saying, I have interest for this position. The more natural way to say it is, I'm interested in this position. Practicing these small changes makes a big difference.
So, you've got all these great tools. Now what? Let's put it all together into a simple 4-week action plan to get you ready. Here's your plan. Week 1 is all about language. Maybe learn some new phrasal verbs to sound more natural. Okay, week 2, it's time to practice. Record yourself answering interview questions. I know it feels weird, but it helps so much to hear yourself. Then, week 3, find a friend or a colleague to do a mock interview with. Getting that real-time feedback is priceless. And finally, week 4 is for refining everything. This plan will build your confidence step by step.
All right, let's wrap up with the most important part, communicating your true value. I want you to remember this. Your unique perspective, your international experience, your ability to speak more than one language, these are not weaknesses. These are your strengths. Seriously, in a global tech company, these things are incredibly valuable. And here's something to keep in mind. Competence speaks louder than perfect pronunciation. Really, what matters most are your skills and your experience. They're hiring you to be an amazing QA team lead, not a linguistics professor.
So, when it all comes down to it, here's the magic formula. Confidence in your skills, plus solid preparation, plus just being your authentic professional self, that equals success. You have totally got this. Go out there and ace that interview. Best of luck.